This one's for you, Mr. Holloway. I know you loved this melody when you could still remember your wife's name. 26-year-old Sloane Beaumont's voice filled the sunlit common room of evergreen memory care, her gentle soprano wrapping around patients who stared blankly or dozed in wheelchairs. She sang every Sunday, unpaid, her guitar case open not for tips, but because music needed space to breathe. Among the residents sat a man who seemed different from the others. While most patients showed the telltale signs of advanced Alzheimer's, vacant stares, repetitive movements, confusion, this silver-haired man sat alert, his eyes following Sloane with unusual focus. The staff called him Mr. Caldwell, said he was a new resident, rarely spoke. Sloane noticed him particularly because he cried during her songs, not the confused tears common with dementia, but purposeful emotion, as though the music reached some deep, protected place inside him. After her performance, she approached his wheelchair gently. "Did you enjoy the music, Mr. Caldwell?" He looked at her with eyes that seemed too clear, too present. "Every note," he said quietly. "You have a remarkable gift. Do you sing professionally?" Sloane was startled by his coherence. Most residents couldn't hold such conversations. "No, sir. I work at a bookstore during the week. This is just something I do for them. For me, too, I suppose." "Why?" he asked, genuine curiosity in his tone. "Why give your Sundays to people who likely won't remember you were here?" The question struck deep. Sloane settled into the chair beside him. "Because my father had Alzheimer's. He died 2 years ago. I used to sing to him every day in his final months, and sometimes, just sometimes, the music would bring him back for a moment. He'd look at me and really see me. Those moments they were everything." Over the following weeks, Sloane found herself drawn to conversations with Mr. Caldwell. Unlike other residents, he remembered her name, asked thoughtful questions about her life, seemed genuinely invested in her dreams of becoming a professional singer. "Why don't you pursue it seriously?" Mr. Caldwell asked one Sunday after she had finished performing. Sloane's smile was sad. "Bills, reality. My mom depends on me since Dad died. Professional singing is a beautiful dream, but dreams don't pay for groceries." "What if someone believed in you enough to invest in that dream?" Mr. Caldwell asked carefully. "Then they'd be foolish," Sloane replied with gentle humor. "I'm nobody, just a bookstore clerk who sings in nursing homes." Something flickered across Mr. Caldwell's face, an emotion she couldn't quite identify. "You're not nobody. You're someone who chooses kindness over compensation. That's rare. That's valuable." The head nurse, Margot, pulled Sloane aside that afternoon. "I need to tell you something about Mr. Caldwell. He's not actually a patient here." Sloane's confusion must have shown, because Margot continued quickly. "He's Beckett Caldwell, the music producer. He's been coming here every Sunday for 2 months, posing as a patient, specifically to hear you sing." The words didn't make sense. Beckett Caldwell was legendary. He'd discovered some of the biggest names in music, was known for his reclusive nature and uncanny ability to spot raw talent. "Why would he do that?" Sloane whispered. Margot's expression softened. "His mother has Alzheimer's. She's a resident here. He comes to visit her, but she doesn't recognize him anymore. One Sunday, he heard you singing to her, saw how the music reached her when nothing else could. He said he needed to understand who you were, so he started sitting with the patients, listening, observing." The next Sunday, Sloane arrived to find Mr. Caldwell, Beckett, waiting in the lobby, no longer in patient clothing, but wearing an expensive suit, looking every bit the powerful producer he was. "I'm sorry," he said immediately, "for the deception. I should have been honest."
Sloane's emotions warred between betrayal and curiosity. "Why didn't you just introduce yourself?" "Because I needed to see the real you," Beckett replied honestly. "Music industry is full of people performing kindness for opportunity. I needed to know if yours was genuine, if you'd sing with the same heart for people who couldn't advance your career." "That's manipulative," Sloane said quietly. "It is," Beckett agreed without defense, "and I apologize, but I learned something crucial. You don't sing for recognition. You sing because music connects us to who we were, even when memory fails. That's not just talent, that's understanding what music is supposed to do." He paused, vulnerability crossing his features. "My mother was a singer. Before Alzheimer's, before forgetting, she taught me that music's purpose isn't entertainment, it's connection. She hasn't known my name in 3 years, but last Sunday, when you sang, she looked at me and smiled. Just for a moment, the fog cleared. You gave me back my mother, even if only briefly." Sloane's anger melted into understanding. "I'm sorry about your mother." "Don't be sorry. Help me." Beckett's voice was urgent now. "I want to produce an album of the songs you sing here, music specifically for memory care patients and their families, songs that reach across the forgetting. And I want you to record it, not because you need the opportunity, but because this matters, because you understand what these families are losing."
The conversation with her mother that night was difficult. "He deceived you, Sloane. How can you trust him?" "Because I saw him cry when I sang to his mother," Sloane replied. "That wasn't performance. That was a son remembering who his mother used to be. I understand that grief. I lived it with Dad." Her mother's eyes filled with tears. "Your father would be so proud, not of the opportunity, of why you're taking it, because it might help families like ours." 6 months later, Sloane recorded an album titled Songs for Remembering. Every track was chosen for its therapeutic value for dementia patients, every lyric crafted to trigger memory and emotion. Beckett used his industry connections to distribute it to memory care facilities nationwide. But Sloane insisted on one non-negotiable term. She would continue singing at Evergreen every Sunday, unpaid, for as long as they'd have her. The album's release brought unexpected success. Families shared stories of moments when their loved ones, lost to Alzheimer's, briefly returned during the music. Memory care facilities reported improved patient engagement. The project even inspired research into music therapy's neurological impacts. 1 year after that first Sunday, Sloane performed at a benefit concert for Alzheimer's research. Beckett introduced her, his mother sitting in the front row, present in body if not entirely in mind. "This artist taught me something I'd forgotten, that the truest measure of talent isn't technical perfection or commercial success. It's the willingness to share your gifts with those who can never repay you." Sloane Beaumont sings every Sunday to people who won't remember she was there. She does it anyway. That's not just kindness, that's the purest form of artistry. After the performance, Beckett found Sloane backstage. "Thank you for forgiving my deception, for understanding why I needed to see the real you." "Thank you," Sloane replied, "for seeing value in kindness, for believing that singing to people who won't remember is still worth doing." "They may not remember," Beckett said softly, "but in those moments, they feel, they connect, they return, however briefly. That's everything. You gave me back pieces of my mother I thought were lost forever. That's worth more than any commercial success." True artistry isn't measured in applause or album sales. It's measured in moments when we choose to share our gifts with those who can never elevate our careers, never promote our names, never remember we were there. The most profound kindness happens when we give expecting nothing in return, when we sing to people who won't remember the song, when we see value in moments others might dismiss as wasted.
Sometimes the people who seem to be receiving our kindness are actually teaching us what kindness means. Sometimes the stranger listening is seeing straight into our souls. And sometimes the greatest opportunities come not despite our compassion, but because of it. Sing anyway, give anyway, love anyway, not for recognition, but because connection matters more than memory. Because in those fleeting moments of clarity, we're giving people back themselves, and that's the most valuable gift of all. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Let's spread more stories of kindness and hope together.